Hi, this is Matt Burns from the University of Missouri, and really excited today to have Sarah Powell with us to talk math. Sarah is an associate professor at the University of Texas at Austin and is arguably one of the leading math researchers and certainly math intervention researchers right now in education. So I'm really excited to have you here.
Thanks so much, Matt. I'm super excited to be here too. So
I'm going to share my screen and I want to show you the
great.
study we're going to talk about. Okay, so the study today is effects of word problem intervention on word problem language features for third grade students with mathematics difficulty by Dr. Powell and her two colleagues. This was published in Learning Disabilities, a multidisciplinary journal. It's again available online, and I'm sure if there's a problem, you could contact Dr. Powell and she would happily send it to you.
Yeah, I'm very happy to share it with anyone.
All right, so let's start first by, so if you wouldn't mind describing the intervention that you did.
Yeah, so this study took place in 1 year of a 3 year project in which we were trying to learn how to best teach word problem solving to students and how to teach word problem solving with an what we call an algebraic reasoning component embedded within that intervention. So we took the pirate math intervention. This is an intervention focused on increasing students' knowledge around word problems that was developed by Lynn Fuchs and her colleagues at Vanderbilt. And we redid a lot of that program. And then we added in this component called Equation Quest. So the intervention that we were looking at that year was called Pirate Math Equation Quest. And it's focused on helping students set up and solve word problems and then really helping them understand how to solve the equations that you use to represent a word problem. So if you set up an equation like 5 plus x equals 12, how do you solve that equation? So that's where the equation quest part of this came in. And so we did it and we recruited around 150 students. All of these students experienced math difficulty in third grade. And then we randomly assigned the students to three conditions. The first condition was Pirate Math Equation Quest. The second condition was Pirate Math without Equation Quest, which we call in this paper Pirate Math alone or PM alone. And then the third condition was a control condition where they did not receive intervention from our group. And so with Pirate Math Equation Quest and with Pirate Math, students learned to set up and solve word problems. This occurred over about 16 or 18 weeks. We went out and tutored the students 3 times a week. And we were really just trying to help students understand different types of word problems. So word problems where you put amounts together, word problems where you compare amounts, and word problems where you have an amount that increases or decreases. And that was our intervention. And I will go ahead and say this, that it is freely available. If you are interested in the intervention materials, you can visit our website, which is piratemathequationquest.com. And our individual tutoring program is there. So that's the one here. Oh, this is great, Matt. On the left-hand side, that's the one that we talked about in this article. We also have a small group word problem intervention for students if you're tutoring in groups of 3 or 4. And then if you're in the state of Texas and you want to help students prepare for the STAR, we also have a Pirate Math word problem intervention there as well. So everything that I'm talking about today, you can download all of the lesson guides and all of the student materials and actually implement Pirate Math Equation Quest on your own, which is really cool. So that's about the intervention. Do you have any other questions about that?
So the intervention in sound like you did random assignment.
Yeah.
What were some of the measures that you used?
Oh, so we had word problem measures that we gave at pre and post test, both single digit word problem solving and double digit word problem solving, where students have to set up and solve word problems. So that was our primary outcome in the study. But then we were also interested in what are some language features that may help or interfere with solving word problems. So we gave what we call, it's called the math language assessment, and it had three different subtests on that. The first was naming a superordinate category. So we gave students examples of items for maybe it was apples, bananas, oranges, and they had to name a superordinate category that describes all of those. So they could write fruit. The second subtest was identifying irrelevant information. This is something that we often see embedded within word problems. And so can they identify that, oh, in this story, I don't need to know about the carrots, but I only need to know about the apples and bananas? And then the third subtest was focused on, I wrote it down, providing a word problem label. So when I provide a word problem, a numerical response, maybe like 88, What does 88 talk about? Is it 88 cars? Is it 88 bananas? Is it 88 pancakes? And so that really helps situate what that numerical response is if you have a word problem label. So we also gave that to all students at pre and post test. And that was what we were really interested in analyzing in this manuscript.
Awesome. And what did you find?
Well, some really interesting things. So first, we saw that the word problem intervention was effective. We had done this project 2 years prior. So this is the third cohort of this project. And so this was an expected thing. We knew that Pirate Math Equation Quest was really helping students set up and solve word problems in a successful way. So that was the first thing. In this study, in this paper, we were really interested in like, well, how do students do at pre and post test on these language features? And we found some interesting things, not exactly what we expected, and then two things that we kind of expected to see. So the first is that we did a lot of talk with the students in Pirate Math and Pirate Math Equation Quest about these superordinate categories, because often you will see a word problem that says, Matt has 10 apples, Sarah has 12 bananas. How much fruit do they have in all? So we would talk with students about this superordinate category, but we didn't see a significant change from pre to post test on the subtest around naming a superordinate category. So that was a little bit surprising to us because the students had practiced that with us
Mhm.
to some extent, not every day, but to some extent. But we did see significant gains for students who participated in the intervention, both Pirate Math Equation Quest and Pirate Math Alone, on identifying irrelevant information. So they were able to say, hey, I don't need to know about this part of the problem, but I do need to know about these parts of the problem. So that was really great, showing that we talked a lot about that during the intervention. And so students were cueing into what information they need and what information they don't need, so they wouldn't get distracted by that irrelevant information later. So that was a really positive outcome from the study. And then on the third subtest about providing a label, we saw that students who did the intervention with us showed more use of label at post test than students who did not do the intervention with us. So they were probably cueing more into, well, what does this number tell me about? And what is this problem about? And so we were really excited to see that they were picking up on a lot of the things we talked about in terms of labels. And so that's why we did see those pre and post test differences there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It seems like I would assume the literature suggests that those are two things that the students with math problems really struggle with: identifying what's irrelevant, identifying what really matters, and understanding it more at a conceptual level.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Cool. So this is research, this is science. So I'm always asking this question as well. Tell me one limitation to your study, please.
Um, let's see. I thought a little bit about this. I think the biggest limitation to our study is that we only focused on those three things related to language. So superordinate categories, labels, and irrelevant information. There's probably more with the language of mathematics that is necessary for effective word problem solving. So we didn't analyze students' mathematics vocabulary, for example. Like we didn't analyze what do they think this question is about, right? Like how could they tell us in 10 words or less what the problem is about? So even though we gave this what we call the mathematics language assessment for third grade, those were only 3 subtests, of which I think that could be expanded to get a better idea of what about the language of math is important for mathematics and for word problem solving within mathematics.
Okay, fantastic. Boy, it sounds like you found some interesting things with the measures you used.
Yeah,
So
I think we did. I mean, we could see that things that we were talking about with the students during intervention really paid off. We talked a lot about irrelevant information. We talked a lot about labels, and we see the effect on the label subtest, but we don't see it on the superordinate category subtest. So I think that if you're a teacher who's teaching a lot about word problem solving and you see that those superordinate categories are widely used, probably need to focus on those a little bit more than we did in Pirate Math Equation
oh,
Quest.
awesome, great, good
Yeah.
tip. Thank you. So again, that website is pirate math
Equation Quest.
equationquest.com.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Pirate Math
and
Equation Quest. Yeah.
thank you. And I encourage everyone to check that out. It's a really great website.
Yeah, please do.
So
All the materials are free, all there ready to use.
appreciate your supporting practitioners that way. Thanks so much for doing this.
All
We
right.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Matt. It's
Thank
nice
you.
to talk to you today.
Thank you. Thanks.